So you know how some people have that one place that they film every time they make a video and it has the same background and it always looks the same? Yeah, I don't. Welcome to my kitchen floor. So I'm sure you've heard of the ladies survey that's been going around YouTube, and I've been tagged in it by a couple of awesome people, namely Jessie and also Natasha, and any excuse to make a video is a good excuse to make a video, so let's talk about some feminine things. No, not those feminine things. Number one on this list is a person that I feel incredibly lucky to consider my friend, although I don't really understand how exactly it is that we are friends because she is infinitely more interesting than I am. I'm talking about Katie Matthews, who just has a way with words and thoughts that honestly I can only dream of. Number two is gotta be Elmify, who proves that content beats out video quality and definition every single time. Number three has to be Lacey Green because she's so passionate and committed to what she does, not to mention that what she does is a subject that's very close to my heart. So I don't watch a lot of sports and I don't really know a lot about athletes in general, but there was someone who came to mind when I saw this question, and that had to be Clara Hughes. Clara Hughes is a Canadian athlete. She is the only athlete in history to have won multiple medals in both summer and winter games. And on top of that, she does the two sports that I would want to do in the Olympics, namely road cycling and speed skating. And she just is a really cool person, and on top of that, after reading about her, I liked her even more because she's openly shared her struggles with depression, and I really have a lot of respect for that. So definitely Clara Hughes. This one's easy. My Heartbeat by Garrett Freeman Ware, which nobody ever knows, but I love it, and I've read it more times than I can count. Now, the fact that this is a really difficult question to answer is testament to two things. First of all, that I really don't pay attention to who writes the movies that I watch, but secondly, obviously, that there is a distinct lack of female presence in cinema. I had to do a lot of digging on the internet, and even then I couldn't really find any movies that I really liked that were written by females, and I feel kind of bad about that. I mean, a lot of people have been saying Juno, and I did like Juno, but I only saw it once, and it was a really long time ago, so I don't really feel like I can pick that. So I'm sorry, but I kind of have to give up on this question because I don't want to fudge an answer. That just doesn't seem very fair. Now, the thing about this question is that I don't really have a lot of favorite characters in general. I don't know why. I generally just read books and then kind of move past them. But I came up with a couple of them. I read The Lord of the Rings during May while I was living in a trailer learning to work with birds. And I have to say that I really like Éowyn's character. I really thought she was a very strong character, and I liked her a lot. So she was the first person that came to mind. I also really like Holly Short from the Artemis Fowl books. I really like Hermione because she's a lot like me, and she's very brave and stands up for what she believes in. And I really like Martha Jones, which a lot of people might disagree with, but she's a strong, independent woman, and I like that. I've been reading and thinking a lot about the biological clock lately, partly in terms of planning my own future, in as much as you can plan these things, but also just because it's been in the news a lot, and I really think that that's an issue. The way that we have to try and balance wanting to have a family and work means that maybe we can't get as involved in something. I was reading a thing recently about how a lot of women don't take up research positions at universities even though they get PhDs in larger proportions, and that's because they feel like they can't take up a research position and balance a family at the same time, and I think that's really sad. And I don't know what the solution to that is, although probably just more involved parenting for men. And so I think that the biological clock thing is a big issue, and I know that it's colored how I've thought about planning my own future too. So I don't know what the solution is, but it's definitely something we need to think about a lot. In terms of method and effectiveness, I think that YouTube and online video are better because they allow people to communicate in a more personal way. And generally I found that this is more effective for breaking down stereotypes, prejudices, and all those kind of issues. But for reach, I think YouTube doesn't quite have that. It's getting there, but currently television probably has the upper hand. Be myself, be honest, be open-minded, be accepting, be respectful. But also not think about gender. I found this survey really interesting, but I've also been a bit iffy about it because of how it singles out women. And generally in my life, I like to just think of all people as people. On one level, I feel like if we think about it a lot, then it makes it a bigger deal, as opposed to just forgetting the gender thing and seeing us all as equal people. So when I was in grade 12, I, along with 2 other friends, led my school's Amnesty International youth group. And in October or November, we got a package from Amnesty International sending us a magazine and some other information materials for running the group. In the magazine, there was a statistic saying that 1 in 3 women would be raped, coerced into sex, or otherwise abused in their lifetime. And that statistic really stuck with me, and I distinctly remember sitting in a history class, counting the number of girls in my class, and figuring out how many of them would be abused.